In order to open up the problem space so new technologies and new firms can enter the idea field, we have to do two things, maybe three things. First, we have to prevent the stranglehold that the incumbents have on the regulatory and political system. Secondly, we have to give incentives for new ideas to come into the marketplace and to have time to develop those technology. That's tax treatment of investment and government purchasing of superior technologies and widespread advertising of other ways to begin to deal with the problem. We also need to train at places like MIT and Cambridge, our engineers and our scientists, material scientists, organic chemists, to look at different ways of solving our needs, whether they're heating or disease reduction or transportation. We're ingenious as a race. We have tremendous capacity, but a lot of ideas never see the light of day because the incumbents do not want to move over. And so government has a very definite role to play to even the playing field and to give space and breathing room for technologies to advance. The government has a variety of roles, essential roles to play, aside from creating the technical and intellectual manpower to do, or human power to do these things. They have to provide the right incentives and get rid of the wrong kinds of incentives to even the playing field. But more than evening the playing field, they have to be aggressive at establishing the incentives for new technologies to enter and survive in the marketplace. There's an incubation period which is needed for technologies to survive. For example, the Postal Service could make a bid on buying electric vehicles to deliver mail and say, well, whoever has the best promising electric cars, we're going to buy 50,000 of them over the next 3 years. You make a small market which allows the company to improve and to change its technology and to penetrate the market. Regulation is a very, very powerful tool for addressing two different kinds of problems. One is the environmental protection and global climate change. And the second is, if you regulate stringently the toxic materials and the large energy consumption, you're going to create a target for the emergence of new companies and new technologies. In this country specifically, stringent regulation has stimulated new kinds of firms. I already gave the example of Dow Silicone displacing Monsanto. There are dozens of these examples. And rather than regulation being job killing, regulations are actually job creating. This is just a political view by people who do not want to meet the challenge of new technology and public demand. Technology can be stimulated by regulation by creating new targets and new demands. Without regulation, people are not going to improve air pollution. People are not going to improve energy consumption sufficiently. Our new fuel economy standards are set at levels which could have been achieved decades ago. We're very slow. We always do what Detroit has already proven it could do. And if we really want to stimulate an even more innovative automobile industry, we need to press people's feet to the fire. Not just because we want innovation, but because there are environmental demands that have to be made. But to be afraid to set targets to stimulate new technology is to damn us to very inferior technology. And if we don't do it, other countries are going to do it. Germany has made an enormous commitment to renewable energy. When Obama talks about wanting us to lead in the renewable energy field, he hasn't done enough, and it's unclear that Congress will let him do enough to really do the kinds of things that Germany has done in stimulating new technology. Other countries have done it better. I know there's a tendency to think that we always do things better, but we ought to get rid of that hubris, because when other countries begin to leap ahead both economically and employment-wise and environmentally. And by the way, Germany is doing much better than we are economically, employment-wise, and environmentally. We ought to look over there and say, maybe we ought to have one of those. Maybe we should learn what other people are doing. And instead of wallowing in the hubris that we always know better and the government cannot help. Government has an essential role to play, not in choosing technologies, but in creating visions for the development of those technologies. And this should be something which the forward-looking industries would really welcome, because let's say old coal-powered pilot plants create energy with a lot of pollution and at a much higher cost than modern plants. Why not let the modern plants benefit from the disappearance of the old coal-fired power plants? Well, if those owners of those plants contribute to the political campaigns of congressmen and presidents, we're going to keep coal-fired power plants in existence. And who are we cheating? We're cheating the American consumer. We're cheating the forward-looking energy companies. We're cheating the technologists of the future. We are really biting off our nose to spite our face.